Today in the crypto space, we see the market kind of going sideways. Bitcoin right around the $63,000 mark. Ethereum right around 2,500, up approximately 3%. Some of the altcoins, a mix of green and red. We do have Sui, Aptos, Tau doing really good, and some of the altcoins are waiting for their turn to push to the upside. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project, an OG for that matter. It's called VECHAIN. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Market cap definitely holding up. However, it does look top heavy. I gotta admit, it does look a bit top heavy. Yes, we're coming down approximately 1.3%. We're doing pretty good. However, it does look top heavy, and as we do see, the volume is pushing back, which means that the market participation is leaving a little bit, right? So do we expect that the market rolls over? Do we expect that maybe we come down for a bit of a breather and continue to the upside? Are people perhaps preparing for the weekend? Because we know that the weekend is tough. The weekend is not the best time to be trading, and maybe people are closing positions right before the weekend, you know, to just kind of chill out and see what happens, and then get back into the swing of things, you know, at the beginning of the week. And that could be a possible scenario as well. But as we go through the market, guys, we'll scrape through the top 100 first. We'll take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and then we'll jump into the VECHAIN chart. Of course, I want to talk about VECHAIN today a little bit. We do see that Bitcoin is obviously top heavy as well, as the market cap is also suggesting that we could be rolling over here. Ethereum looks a little better in my book. We do see a bit of a flag happening right now, but there's not enough of a structure to suggest that we're double topping or looking top heavy at the current moment. But Ethereum is looking okay. It's up approximately 3%. As we keep on going through the market, you can see there are some good gainers, some dips, some, you know, some in red, some in green. You know, some Ethereum based projects aren't doing that bad. They're doing pretty good. We have VECHAIN still looking okay. It's up 3.2% despite the pullback today. It's still up, so we're doing pretty good nonetheless, right? So we can scrape through this top 100 and we can see that generally speaking, the market right now is a bit indecisive. It is a bit indecisive, like even including Near Protocol slowly coming down. We have Caspa, very indecisive, going sideways, 3.4%. It did get its upgrade, but no volume coming in based on that bullishness. But we have FET and Sui. Sui's killing it still, 11.9% to the upside. And if you're into Sui ecosystem, we see Cetus doing very well. Also, the DEX. You know, this is a really good thing to see Sui and, you know, all the projects being built on Sui doing very well. This is good stuff for Sui. As we can see, a lot of projects are still up there. However, the concern is that we could be a bit frothy in the short term. So we'll talk about short-term pullbacks. We'll talk about what we do as far as time frame. You know, I do see the possibility of a downturn for a little bit, and then picking up things earlier this week. Regardless, guys, you know what? The weekends are a great time to actually take a break. You know, avoid the chart paralysis. Avoid, you know, getting too overstimulated on charts. When you start charts way too much, what happens is everything starts to look blurry. So take a break and come back to it, you know, Monday nice and fresh, right? Even Sunday night we can start looking at markets ready to go for the beginning of the week. We do see a lot of good price action still, guys. Still no bearish divergences. Even VECHAIN is up 4% for today, guys. Today we're talking about VECHAIN a bit. I want to see what's going on there because it's an OG. It's an OG project. It's been around for a good while. You know, it's one of the really good gainers in the last previous bull run, so something to consider. And creating great relationships, marketing opportunities, UFC opportunities, and many others. And the team is still cranking and doing what they got to do to keep it bullish. The thing is that, you know, there's not much hype happening at the current moment, but look at it. It's up 29% in 7 days. So the question is sorry, not VECHAIN, 3.9% in 7 days, which is maybe the beginning of a potential reversal, right? A potential reversal after hitting a bottom. And that's what I want to look at, because if the structure suggests, you know, some sort of descending wedge, we could be considering to build a bit of a position. We'll talk about the chart in a second. The project that is up to 29.4% in 7 days is Phantom. And currently Phantom is going sideways in a bull flag. So it's not bad there. We could expect a continuation up, unless we get some sort of Bart Simpson pattern straight to the downside. So we do see a bit of, you know, hang time here, even on Thorchain, and maybe even GRT, Theta Network. You see a little bit top heavy in the immediate short term. But again, we have been experiencing a lot of bullishness in the last little while, which could mean that, you know, fake out, maybe continuation to the upside. This is the time to expect those things to happen. Once you start seeing a little bit of FOMO and the market wake up that way, just understand that pullbacks are quick. Pullbacks are meant to get people wrecked. Pullbacks are meant to trap liquidity with those bear traps, of course, so pay attention to that. Ultimately, the market right now is a mix of green and red, pretty sideways, indecisive, as you can see. Neutral, that's totally fine. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the end of the day has been doing great, but in the last little while, I would say today, bit indecisive. Now, I'm curious as to how we're going to close this daily candle in about, you know, 4 hours and 39 minutes. Now, the question is, do we produce a tweezer top? Now, it's not a clean tweezer top, but it's definitely there. We definitely have to understand that if we get rejected here, we are making a lower high. It's not a good look, of course, if that happens, because it's very likely that we come down for another lower low. Let's talk about this in a bit more detail. Now, like, we know that we're in a big structure here, guys. We know that the structure is old, the structure is established, it's matured. But as you get comfortable with the trend being your friend, eventually the trend becomes your enemy, in the sense that either it falls or even goes to the upside if you're a bear, right? So we have to understand is that this thing is overdue. It's ready to make some sort of expansion move out of the consolidation, break character, break structure, go to the upside, or start rolling to the downside and maybe coming down, right? At this point, I think the market, it's positioned to see it move up. This is a bull flag, guys, a massive one, right? And a lot of people are still talking about the cup and handle formation here, big picture. You can see nice rounded bottom, nice handle right into here, and we start breaking out. You can imagine what kind of structure this would be, what kind of target it would be if we start measuring, you know, the measured move out of a break like this. Just quick, if you look at it from the top to the bottom of the neckline, more or less, I know that was a bit sloppy, but all good. You can see your target more or less is 125. 125, 120, 130, right around this level. That could be a nice target. But in the meantime, we're still struggling with the structure. Do we actually break to the upside, right? So it's about being patient. In my book, in the last little while, I've been saying, guys, I'm neutral. I'm neutral. And I'm looking at altcoin opportunities. I'm not looking at Bitcoin opportunities. Bitcoin's neutral, so am I. Ethereum was neutral, negative, so I was also Ethereum negative and neutral. And I was focusing on altcoins, and we can see some of the altcoins doing very, very well in the last little while. So although the Bitcoin dominance is telling us otherwise, guys, Bitcoin dominance, has to be considered. The fact that there's a bit of you have to really take it with a grain of salt, Bitcoin dominance, but also you have to understand what it is. Guys, join me live tonight. We could talk about Bitcoin dominance, all this kind of stuff. And then obviously tonight is a great time and place for you guys to make any requests on any projects you want me to cover. Look at some charts and, try to get those setups, preparing for a continuation up. Let's take a look at VECHAIN. VECHAIN is a lot more interesting. Why? Because it's an OG. It's got price action. You can see what happened here in the previous bull run. It ran up really good, really hard, guys. VECHAIN and I have a great relationship, but at the end of the day, right now, a lot of people are questioning that relationship in the sense, look, we came down to pretty low levels. In fact, it's not that bad if you think about it. It's not like we came down to these levels right here. We did come back to test some of the liquidity right on this zone, and we got a nice reversal to the upside, proof of life. Now we're back testing. So what's more interesting to me is that we produce a higher low, and it looks like we might get that in this little structure that we're building here. We have a lot of liquidity that we were beginning to hunt. We have a lot of support right around this level. We can see that the volume is consolidating, waiting for that expansion, and that's usually when the magic happens. Now, for me personally, it's a question of, do I deploy more capital? Do I scale up my position? Because I happened to buy right into here. And then I had another buy order down here set, but it didn't happen. So now that we ran up, it's okay. I have some exposure. I'm happy with that exposure. Now on this dip, do I accumulate more? right? And I know that I'm buying dips. I know I'm not becoming exit liquidity. The question is this the bottom of this push to the downside? And do we start looking for that reversal? That's the better opportunity, because this becomes a confirmation low, a higher low in comparison to this low right here. And when you're getting into confirmations, technically you feel a little bit more confident to build your position size up, right? To scale up your position. And that's what I'm kind of feeling right now, is that it might not be a bad time. We did get a bit of green volume, just a tad right into here, which I appreciate. But if we start putting in trend lines, then you can see that technically, I'm going to put this one very loosely. We can tighten it up and you know, make it a bit better in a second. You know, like, let's see if we can put it something like that. It's clearly in a downtrend, very, very clearly in a downtrend. Let's make it a bit thinner, because it's hard to see when it's that thick to see all the price action. But ultimately, you can see it's in a clear downtrend. So what happens is that we start looking for break a trend, which is good. It did break trend. And now we're starting to ask ourselves, you know, is it changing character, in the sense that are we no longer making lower lows and lower highs? Not really, guys. I'll be honest, not really. I'm not very confident yet that we can see that the price action is still making lower lows and lower highs. But the beauty behind such structures is that it's very clear that it's in a descending wedge pattern. And descending wedge patterns have been basically painted on many projects throughout this bear market and throughout this downturn, and we're seeing a lot of them break out already, and there's a long list of them that are in this descending wedge type of scenario. Now that we see that VeChain is breaking out, we're getting our first confirmations that VeChain is attempting to create a pivot point structure right here at this level. We do have some support, so it's at good horizontal support. This is why I put this yellow line here, and we're slowly toying around with this level. We break trend, and now the question is, what happens next? In order for me to get bullish here, really bullish, right? Because I'm bullish, of course, and to increase my position sizes, is that I need to see it break above this high. And if it doesn't happen and we get rejected, at least give me another higher low. And then we start to look at this as a pivot point structure, where eventually we want to break these highs. And the highs becomes a neckline. And the highs kind of define the fact that we are producing an inverse head and shoulder. And I kind of want to see that happen, another higher low. Now, what about if that doesn't happen? What about if we keep on moving to the upside? I see the other resistance point. The other resistance point is the 200 daily. EMA, which means exponential moving average. And ultimately, if we get rejected here, fine, we went up for a higher high, but the bonus is that we went up higher than that high, and then if we come down for the back test, we make a higher low, and we start creating a trend reversal. And this is where things start to look really good. Obviously, on a back test is the time to start taking a bit of risk, confirming that we are changing direction. And at this current moment, this is what we're currently playing with. And at this time is the time where taking risk is actually the most beneficial. So you get in with small bag here, you wait to see what happens. If it runs up, you buy on the back test. If it gets rejected, you buy on the dip, and you slowly deploy into this area, depending what happens to the structure, because you're looking for, again, a structure that defines a change of character. You want a higher high, you want a higher low. And as of now, we're not really getting strong confirmations. Okay, so that's very, very important. Descending wedge, break a trend, check. Let's see what kind of structure we build, because we're still making lower lows and lower highs. Let's take a look at some oscillators here. I do have the trend oscillator. Let's get the let's use the momentum oscillator first. Trend oscillator is looking good. So the momentum is definitely moving upwards very nicely. Expansions as we're coming down are getting smaller. As of now, guys, this expansion, this oscillator has been killing it, doing really, really good, giving us an edge in the market. And you can see that we are also shifting to the upside with regards to momentum, the purple line. So we're getting divergences everywhere on momentum. I appreciate this, right? Now, you know, guys, it's not enough for me. It's not enough to suggest that we're ready to break out, but it's a good signal. We're diverging in a structure. We're diverging at horizontal levels that are good levels of horizontal support, and we are slowly breaking trend. Guys, there's so much confluence here right now, and all we need is price structure. Why do I need price structure? Because price structure is going to give me the ability to put a stop loss and to mitigate my risk, to use a very confident risk management strategy. We need that right now. If you get in right now, where are you going to put your stop loss? Okay, it could be here, sure. But what about if we come down for another lower low and continue this trend? Because we're still in a downtrend. You're going to get stopped out. What you really need is to get some sort of confirmation. A higher low, double bottom, at least a double bottom. At least you can put a stop loss under that double bottom. Or like I mentioned previously, break a higher high or come down for a higher low or something like that. This suggests that this is going to start reversing to the upside. And of course, we have opportunity above. We have little volume gaps, of course. And you guys know that we really are preparing for the massive expansion, which is the volume gaps above. Empty space here, empty space here, empty space pretty much everywhere above $3 and 3.1 cents, which is that's the opportunity. That's the opportunity for that reversal and that pop to the upside. So we are slowly getting into a transitionary phase from bearish to bullish, and this transitionary phase could take some time right around this level until we see the momentum get overbought, and that's where we see the massive expansion and the price reclaim previous highs, right? And that's where we're looking for the breakout. Now let's take a look at trend oscillator, which is this one right here. The multi-momentum trend oscillator is looking pretty good. We're trying to get it into the bullish control zone, which is something that I really want, because if you notice here, up until now, let's make this big. Let's make this big. Up until now, you can see all these expansions, the blue expansions. We've been kind of doing one of these, right? And if you look at what's been happening here, we kind of came down. Okay, we got one random pop here, which is fine. And if you look at the price action, it's not the biggest, but we are looking for something like this, right? And that usually happens when we see the EMAs, this right here, when they see the EMAs kind of get into the bullish control zone, similar to what happened here, right? Get expansions. So we kind of want to see this happen, you know, these expansions on the EMAs, and start to see purple expansions to the upside. So it looks like this is what we're trying to do. It looks like we're trying to pivot upwards and get the trend to shift from bearish to bullish, and we can see that being confirmed by the momentum oscillator. So it's not bad, guys. We're getting some good signals here throughout the market. We're getting oscillators on our side, and we're getting a lot of good price action in structure. Now, setup wise, what do we do here? Reality is your target, short-term target, is this top. Guys, we go on the weekly, there's massive opportunity. Getting back to previous highs all the way about to 28 cents. Massive opportunity if that's the objective. But let's keep it modest. I'm going to stay on the weekly here just so that we can make our setup easy, because we should be seeing big picture structures here. We should be accumulating here. We're not getting into any trades right now, leverage trades. We're getting into positions preparing for the run for the next leg up, right? Because we've got one impulsive move. Let me just show you here, because there's a little bit of price action that we can kind of iron out. Let's see, which tool am I going to use? Let's use that one. Impulsive move up. Sorry, guys. Impulsive move up. Let's do it again. Come down, retracement. Looks like a nice 886. It's a deep retracement. Another one up. This one, because of the Elliott wave theory, the third wave has to be big. Okay, and then we come down for retracement. We go for another higher high. Guys, I'm going to drop that right here because it doesn't fit on the screen. So I'll drop it right here, and then we can move it around. Okay, so that's that. So really, this is what we're looking for. Okay, something like that. Now, ultimately, this is amazing. This is amazing. At any given point, we can consolidate and go for another 5-wave structure to the upside, because, you know, we'll get some peaks and valleys. Even on short terms, we'll get some retracements. But this is what we're preparing for, right? Ultimately, this is a decent time. So trade setup wise, okay, remember that's a 5-way structure. If you're getting into a trade setup, you got to think about your risk to reward. You get in right now, not bad, and then you start asking yourself, do I put a stop loss down here? If you put a stop loss down there, you're taking a 47% hit. That's the safest stop loss you're going to have. But because it's a 47% hit, you have to consider position size. You're not going to go all in, because what happens is that dip will wipe you out. 50% of your bag will get wiped out, just in case we come down to that level. And anything's possible here in this market, guys. We can't deny the fact that anything could happen in the markets, in the news, around the world, and things could happen. And you don't want to be that individual that's taking too much risk. However, if you plan on putting a stop loss down at this level, you reduce that risk by half. You're at around 22%, which is not bad, because then you start looking at your reward. And we can easily start off here, being modest, right? Get back to the previous highs. You're up 100%. You can take half on the double. Your risk to reward ratio is 5 to 1. excellent. You can take half on the double, take your initial investment off the table, let the rest run for the bull run. That's the best way. Then it becomes a risk-free trade or a risk-free position because it's all house money that you're dealing with. However, guys, another option is to trail up a stop loss. Just trail up a triggered stop loss on spot, put it well into profit, leave enough wiggle room to consolidate and make some moves right around this level, because I do feel like this could be an emotional level right around these tops and the volume gap. You can see there's an empty space that will allow the price to snap from 3.2 to about 4.2, 4.3 very, very easily. And because of the emptiness right here in the price action, look left, there's not much volume in here. But once we get to this level at the previous high, based on this node of volume, we could definitely get a bit of a rejection, consolidate, and move for another leg to the upside. So let's give it wiggle room if you're going to trail up the stop loss. But the ultimate target for a bull run for VECHAIN, and of course, VECHAIN is an OG. They've been around. They've proven to us that, you know, they got some good tech. They're still working on what they got to work on to be bullish. But getting back to previous highs is another great target for being modest. Why? Because VECHAIN could definitely get back there, and you're up 10x, you're 1,000%. And the risk to reward ratio is crazy, right? This is long-term spot positions, anticipating that VECHAIN is going to reclaim its previous highs and get back into the swing of things, and potentially, obviously getting into price discovery, and who knows how high we go in that case. So VECHAIN, of course, one of those OGs. I think it's a little bit underrated. You know, part of, or it started off as a supply chain management project, a lot of business to business solutions, of course. But since then, it kind of diversified. It got into NFTs, it got into many other aspects of crypto, and a lot of other software solutions, ecosystem growth. Guys, go check them out. Start doing that deep dive. Start looking at, you know, their socials and so on, so you can get fundamentally bullish. Ultimately, that's the goal. Guys, if I've offered you any value here, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.